San Antonio! Welcome to All Things San Antonio podcast with your host,
Ken Carter and
Brad Burns on a sunny Tuesday afternoon.
And I'd just like to welcome you out to the best podcast in San Antonio. I think we have more subscribers than any other podcast there is in San Antonio that's only about San Antonio.
Yeah, we actually had somebody ask, hey, what is this podcast about? Only that one city? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of in the name. All Things San Antonio.
That's the funniest comment I've ever seen. It's like, what are y'all trying to do? Only market to San Antonio?
Yeah.
Kind of, because we love you guys, and we appreciate the love that y'all give us.
San Antonio, that's my people.
That's our people.
Today we're diving in. I want to really just kind of give some informative stuff for people that might be moving to the area, people that might be moving around the area. Today we're talking about all things San Antonio schools.
Specifically school districts.
We're going to dive in a little bit further on that. We're getting all of our information, so I'm putting a little disclaimer up front.
What's the disclaimer?
All of our information is from niche.com.
Yes, we didn't come up with anything on our own because we couldn't.
Yep, our opinions and any of that stuff is not in here too much.
Our opinions are somebody else's.
Yeah, so we're basically coming off of there. But before we get started in that, one of the most exciting things about schools that I've seen is Papa Jeff Bezos is opening up one of the first schools in San Antonio. Elon Musk also has one coming up in Austin.
I wasn't trying to get you to stop talking.
Yeah.
Tell what you're talking
about.
I was trying to bring this
Jeff
up.
Bezos has one coming up in Universal City, Texas, which is a suburb of San Antonio. And how they're going to do it is they're going to have a lottery system go on for kids, I believe, 3 through 5 to get accepted into there.
Okay.
And I'm not sure how they're going to work the grading system and kind of go out through there. But I think it's super exciting to get some privately funded schools going on.
Well, I got a really unpopular belief and thoughts about schools, probably, especially public schools. And 67% of my kids are either going or have went to public schools. I have a couple that went to private school, and I would say that neither education was. They're both great. It's not really about public and private at this point. It's like a lot of schools, I feel like, are just jails.
Yeah. Honestly, a school and a daycare is kind of just a place to park a kid while the parents go do whatever.
It's really like they are on a work release program. They get to come home at night, but they have to be back in jail behind the locked guard and everything every day, Monday through Friday.
They come back home with homework.
And if you don't take them, they will actually take the parent to actual jail.
Yeah.
So,
and one of the things I'm excited for about the Jeff Bezos school, so I'm reading here off of their website. And so their goal is this is directly from their website, our goal is to nurture and the potential in every child to become a creative leader, original thinker, and lifelong learner by increasing access to early childhood education in under-resourced communities. So I'm excited about that. I feel like a lot of times, even the parents, all of us, we get distracted as far as when it comes to school and things like that. It's like, hey, we learn from 8:30 to 3 and then we're done. But if you become a lifelong learner, it's not about the 12 grades you get through or 16 grades if you go to college or 27 grades if you become a doctor or 36 grades if you just are very slow at college. But it's not just all about that. It really just breaks it down to helping kids become critical thinkers.
And that's my biggest thing about like schools. Like I don't feel like we're producing enough critical thinkers, and I'm a result of that actually in a lot of ways. Like I came out of high school and the little bit of college that I went to before I started getting into sales and ultimately getting into real estate. No one held me. I didn't feel like. I know it should be on your own. You should push yourself and everything, but I didn't feel like the school systems. I don't want to say they failed me, but they didn't really try to push me to be better. They just wanted to get me through at school. And
I feel like I was too smart for school. I don't know if every kid feels that way, but I feel like I knew how to get by doing the least amount possible.
Exactly.
And still get decent grades.
I got good grades. I passed fine, but I took the easiest classes to do so.
And it kind of hit me this morning. My son was supposed to do his reading homework last night. And he did it. He was reading on the way to school this morning. He's 5, so he's still learning how to read. And like some of the words, he knew some of the words and needed help with some of the words.
He didn't ask you for help, did he?
He did.
Oh my God.
And I'm not but good thing they're first grade or kindergarten words, so I can get them right. But like as we were going through there, and he was like, "Hey, what is this word?" And he was trying to like sound it out. And when I think about it, I'm like, man, if I don't know that word, I try to take the context of the sentence and like use some critical thinking skills and figure out what that word means or what that word might be. And I was trying to teach him that on the way to school. It's like, hey, you don't know. I forgot what the sentence was, but like the word was school, and he didn't know how to read it. And I was like, well, what? Like, look at the beginning and the end of the sentence. What is it talking about? Can you piece together what it might be? And I think that's a lot of the things that we fail at with public education or any education in general. I mean, it could be a private school education, like.
I don't want to embarrass anybody but like understanding context, like situations, I sent a group chat text to 3 other people, so 4 of us, that we had a golf tee time set for Sunday morning, and one of the people in the text, might have been my brother, said, "Hey, do we have room for this other guy?" And I was like, there's 4 in the text. You can only allow 4 people. It's like use some clues here to realize that we can't take anybody else. It's like, but that's just an old man that can't use technology. And I know you listen, Joey, so that one's for you, brother.
Yeah, somebody whose name rhymes with Joey Carter.
Let's go, brother. Tuesday.
But yeah, then I mean, also we have Elon Musk.
He's opened up a university in Austin. He says we'll see. He's doing so many things. It'll be interesting, but I'm hesitantly optimistic when people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who are billionaires and have resources beyond belief, that they are doing these type of things to try to help the community. There's a lot of conversation about billionaires and the ultra wealthy being evil and this and that, and I will be the first to say that Elon Musk, if he's nefarious, if he's got bad intentions, I'm in with him right now, hook, line, and sinker. It's like, because I think he's got, I mean, he's got his faults. He's an asshole. Yeah. Excuse the language. Keep it family friendly.
I'm gonna be real with it. I think my opinion of it.
Yeah.
So we got 2 of the most successful businessmen out there opening up schools and helping education. They're trying to get better employees down the road. They're trying to get some people that'll be critical thinkers and make decisions and things like that. Being somebody that employs people, one of the things that I hate the most is when somebody brings me a problem, instead of just making a decision of like, hey, I think this is how we should fix it.
Yeah.
And doing it. Like, you want people to think and make their own decisions.
But think about this. It's like, it's very often when there's someone who's been successful and they start giving classes or they write a book, and people a lot of times will say, if they were actually that successful, why are they writing a book, or why are they doing this? Why don't they just do that? Every successful person I know, yourself, your coach, Michael Henlickson, like, there's so many people that have been super successful. And as soon as they gain that success, what I see more times than not is, how do I give back to the community? How do I help somebody else do this? Because the people that are successful realize that there is not a finite amount of stuff out there. Things are infinite. Like, there's enough to go around. There's enough resources. There's enough money. There's enough, all of the stuff that we want. There's enough of it out there for everybody. If we go work hard, and be kind and do help other people get the things that they want. So, again, cautiously, hesitantly optimistic, but like, hopefully he's Tony Stark and he's not,
We'll see how it plays out.
But
let's dive into talking about
some of our schools.
Yeah, some of the schools we have here. And so what we've done is we went to niche.com. We went
Take control of the
about the best school districts in San Antonio.
I see that, and the first one is Basis, which is a charter school, which is interesting.
Which I think is cool. Like, they have 12 schools around San Antonio. I don't know that I've heard of them.
I have. I've got some people that I know that have done some, either they've taught there. I think I knew someone that was one of the vice principals at one of the schools. But
it seems like they create 74% proficient reading group. Maybe I should take some classes.
Well, but you know what? If you go back, like their average SAT score, there was 232. And again, I think at niche.com, this is taking in, I think, self-reporting maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because it's saying that there's 232 responses, but the average SAT of those that wanted to share their results was 1370, which is pretty good.
To be fair, the person that got 600 probably did not report the results.
Probably did not. But they have a 95% graduation rate. And I think when I graduated Judson High School in 91, and the numbers, I wasn't there my freshman and sophomore year, but I graduated, was there junior and senior, graduated there. And from what my understanding was, there was about 1,000 kids that started as freshmen. My graduating class was 755. So
75%?
Yeah. Graduate, and I don't know if some transferred out, some transferred, like there's some things and everything, but I would tell you that there's this kid that sat next to me whose last name was also Carter and was supposed to be in my homeroom class. I never met the kid until the day of graduation. Actually, the rehearsal. He was sitting next to me at rehearsal also.
So he never went to class.
He never went to class.
So Basis Texas Charter School, they got 12 schools.
Mm-hmm.
Their overall grade is an A+. They got about 4,900 students. They got a bunch of different reviews. If you want some more information on the reviews, click the link below. And while you're at it, do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button so you're notified about more episodes just like this. So the next one we're going to talk about that Ken knows a whole lot about is Alamo Heights ISD, Alamo Heights Independent School District. They got about 4,700 students according to niche.com.
That's about right.
A+ overall average. They have 6 total schools in the district.
Mm-hmm. The Alamo Heights is definitely an interesting school district. It gets painted in a very specific way. When a lot of home games, the other schools are chanting Alamo Whites instead of Alamo Heights, and that's pretty true in a lot of ways. But at the same time, what's interesting about Alamo Heights compared to other districts, because you think of districts like they are where their neighborhoods are. So if you go to Harlandale Independent School District or Southwest, the majority of those kids are in the same socioeconomic background, right? You go to Reagan, you go up to in Northeast, and that side, Johnson High School. And I start mentioning high schools because Alamo Heights, it's a district, but it's only got one high school. The 6 schools, they have one high school, they've got one junior school, they got 2 elementaries, they got a kindergarten school, which is great, and then they've got their Excel program for kids that are trying to graduate early or extra credit or recover credits and stuff like that. But those schools are in just one neighborhood, so socioeconomically they're the same. Some on the high and some on the low end. And with Alamo Heights, it's pretty diverse because you've got some areas of the town, and we've talked about this before, that are on the lower end socioeconomically. But some of the see, look, there's a $96,000 home for sale in Alamo Heights.
$174,000 condo. Then as you start getting a single family, you're probably up over 500.
I would say what I would say is there's 2 things about Alamo Heights that are very cool that affected my family personally. First was they have what's called the Mini Mule program. And so in the state of Texas, if you have a child with special needs, learning disabilities, physical disabilities, anything like that, you're allotted a proportionate amount of education starting at age 3, right? And so every school district has to have a pre-K for children of that nature. And so Alamo Heights has a grant program where they allow teachers' children that are typically developing to kind of be models for the atypically developing children. And so for us, it was a benefit because it was a lot cheaper daycare, and they worked within the hours of the teacher because it was at the district, and so they were. And it was that was great in that regard. But it's also with Thea. She was in that program at 3-year-olds, 4 and 5, and she has worked with special need kids all the way through elementary, all the way through junior high, and she's graduated. She's always been a part of the Unified Club. She's got one of her best friends is this great girl who has special needs, who Thea's a peer tutor with and works with her, does theater with her and stuff like that. So it's been great for her on that. So that program is great. And then my son was part of the rocketry program, which I think is probably in like the 15th or 16th year. And the rocketry teacher, and I wish I knew his name because he's done a great job. He started on his own. The school district said, "We got no money for you. It's all on you." So he started going in grants, getting donations, and getting all these people. And they're building rockets that are going off into the space. They launch them at White Sands National Missile Launch out in New Mexico. And a number of them are working in like high-end tech.
That's cool.
Rocketry. Like Zane is building stuff that's going in that's for NASA and things like that. So it's a really great school in that regards. It's got a lot of other problems, but
yeah, I mean every school has its problems.
And
then one thing I think is important here: the teacher-to-student ratio, 15 students to every one teacher, according to here, says the national average is 17-1. So one of the next schools we're going to talk about, number 3 on the list, is Bernie Independent School District.
It's really like it's funny how close Bernie is and how far it used to be.
Yeah, because we just expanded out that way. Like everything's grown up out that direction. They have a total of 13 schools. They're an A overall grade. About a little over 10,000 students. A little bit about Bernie ISD is we talked about that student to teacher ratio. Let's see if they have that on here.
18-1.
So yeah, they have 18-1. So they have a little bit more students to each teacher. They're ranked number 33 out of over 1,000 independent school districts here in the state.
I went to a construction, the Greater San Antonio Contractors Association meeting about a year or so ago, and they were talking about Bernie, like just the growth that it was having because they had some bond issues going up, and at the time they were growing by I want to say like 1,300 or 1,400 students a year. So basically, a new elementary school was needed every year because of the growth that they were having. Boom, 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 which is great. Same with Northside. Northside is experiencing Medina County. I think Medina Valley is on here.
I think you just passed it.
Did I? Yeah, it's right below what we like to call SCUC, Church Cibolo Universal.
So let's go back to Bernie. Let's stay on Bernie for a second. So
I don't like Bernie.
Has 13
Bernie's like
schools.
Not even San Antonio.
1,300 or 1,000 or 10,000 students. They're definitely growing like crazy. Seems to have great reviews. They have 37 people that have reviewed it. If you want more information on Bernie or anything going on out there, get with us. We definitely help Bernie area as well.
For sure.
I think it's cool. Area. Yeah, I think it's cool how so many places are growing so much that they keep opening new elementary schools and they're like, hey, we'll deal with the middle schools and the high schools down the road. When those kids get big enough and we have too many people in each one.
You can always put a portable out there.
Yeah. The next 2 schools are actually, I guess you would call them government type schools, Randolph and Fort Sam Houston.
They're not DOD schools. They're not like, so they're independent. They're just regular school districts and such that are on the military bases. There are some military bases being, again, a old school dependent that are DOD, Department of Defense, but those are typically not in the states.
So these schools, like, tell me a little bit about these schools. I know, like, they don't have very many schools. Is anybody just allowed to go there, or is it only?
It's going to be
dependents.
It's going to be dependents, and I think that they have to live on post or base, like military for Air Force on a base or on Army on the post. Fort Sam Houston ISD, I would say, is most famous for Cole High School graduate Shaquille O'Neal.
Big Shaq.
He's got a beef going with Shannon Sharp right now with Club Shay Shay. Did you see that?
No, but I'm Team Shaq.
I have to. You know what he said is Shaq is hilarious. He said that he told the guy from the Yugoslav, the Croatian guy, Docevic or whatever. Luka, he said that he shouldn't be the MVP and everything. Like he's not, or
well,
whatever.
You're talking about the Nuggets because
whoever he is.
Yeah.
I'm not that big of a Spurs. He's not on the Spurs.
The Joker, that's what they call him.
He shouldn't have won whatever or been named or something like that. And Shannon Sharp got on to it, said something to Shaquille about it, and Shaq goes, if you're not considered in the top 10 of your professional sport, you don't need to have a voice.
Shaq said that?
To Shannon Sharp.
Hey.
What?
I mean, it is what it is.
Hey, and I don't know if you saw that. I saw, because I'm not a LeBron fan, so, excuse me, carried over a little bit to his son, Bronny. There's a photo where he has been listed in every roster, high school, college, whatever roster he's been on. He's been listed at 6'4", and they measured him at the Columbine for the NBA, 6'1". He's been lying by 3 inches. And this is a big deal because, like, I'm like a big fan of, like, honesty. And, like, I don't get why people lie about, like, the heights for athletes and
That's
things.
a big difference.
3 inches is a big difference. Like Thea, I will tell you, she's 6'2". I'm 6'2 1/4". She's a 1/4 inch shorter than me. I'm shrinking. I'm a little bit taller than her. You put her ankle braces on. You put her shoes on. She's 6'3". Okay. She usually gets listed as 6'4" in high school. We both, and it's like, I'm like, I want her to be listed at 6'3", because even though she's 6'2", I get it that.
I think I'm going to start telling people I'm 6 foot.
I'm going 6'5".
Hey. So Wemby came here and made all of us short.
God,
so
did he did his thing at the planetarium or whatever?
I haven't seen that.
He accepting the Rookie of the Year award or whatever. I think he did it like at a planetarium.
That's cool.
He's embracing the alien thing. It's
That's cool. So next up on the list is Comal ISD Independent School District. So Comal is a county above Barry County, which is where San Antonio is located, for those that might not know.
In New Braunfels. And that's the thing is, like, how close these are. Like, a couple years ago, they just changed Alamo Heights, go back to Alamo Heights, sporting district. It used to include, like, Bernie Champion, Kerrville, farther up I-10, Canyon High School, New Braunfels, Dripping Springs, Seguin. Mm-hmm. So, like, all of these areas in South Texas, like, these are people from other states. They don't realize, like, even though we got a little bit of distance, maybe 45, 50, 60 miles, they're not that far when it comes to commuting, stuff like that. So all these school districts in the San Antonio area that are all basically within counties that are touching each other.
So one thing I'll say is to notice as we get down the list a little bit are the size of these districts. So Comal has 35 total schools.
It's growing by another one. They're about to open another high school next year.
Well, they have almost 29,000 students.
Wow. That again,
still ranked A overall average. Some of the things that I would say.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Awesome. I've been talking a lot though. One of the cool things that they're doing, and it kind of messed over Alamo Heights because that used to be our district for sports. Mm-hmm. They pushed it out to where we were in a less competitive district. And the reason why is because Smithson Valley, they moved, because they're opening up all these other high schools, they moved Smithson Valley from a 6A school down to a 5A school. So that kind of pushed us out, because since they're all Comal anyways, and they took our spot in that district, which irritated me, but it makes sense. But what it shows me is that as a district, they're not trying to have a bunch of 6A schools necessarily. They'd rather have all 5A high schools that are a little bit smaller and better teacher to student ratio and stuff like that, and you're pulling up at 17:1, which I think is neat. It's like
the national average.
Schools are getting so dang big, man.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, they talk about here the cost of living in that area. The housing is ranked B. Median household income is $85,000 a year.
But median rent only $1,500-ish, which isn't bad.
But I think you get in Comal, you're gonna get some of the. You're going to get Canyon Lake. You're going to get some of the less expensive places. Next, we're going to roll on to Northeast Independent School District, ranked at number 7. So we talked about Comal having 28,511 students. Northeast has 75 schools with
59,000.
59,000 students. and still
think about that.
kept an A average.
There are a lot of towns in this country that don't have 59,000 people in it, and they got that many students just in their school district.
Yeah, that's crazy. They have they've maintained an A average on all sources: academics, teachers, clubs and activities, diversity, college prep, and administration.
They do. They really do have some really good schools. One of my best friends, my pickleball partner, he's a principal in Northeast Independent School District, and
their office is next to ours.
He I can tell you, like, he goes all out. Like, he's at elementary school. Like, he'll dress up as Grinch. He dresses up as Spike. Like, he is perfect for his job. He's a really, really good guy.
Yeah, house prices in this area go from 300,000 up.
That makes sense. That sounds.
So student to teacher ratio 16-1. So we have almost 60,000 students, and it's lower than the national average student to teacher ratio.
I would say they pay their teachers better than the other school districts we've seen also.
So average teacher salary, little over $57,000 a year. So if you're a teacher, this might be a district that works well for you.
And rent there's only $1,300. There's a lot of apartment opportunities to live in that area though.
Yeah, I mean, median rent's $1,300. Median home values $290. So about, like we said, $300.
It's a big district because you gotta figure you got Northeast is Madison High School, it's Roosevelt High School, it's Johnson and Reagan also. It's Lee part of Northeast. Lee.
Let's see if they have a list of the high schools.
Those are elementary.
Yeah, so they have the International Schools of America, Reagan, Johnson, Churchill.
MacArthur.
They have 11 high schools in this district.
Churchill.
So Johnson, Churchill.
Do they still have the Gucci Bowl? Do you know what the Gucci Bowl is?
Yeah, I think they still do.
With Churchill and Clark?
Yeah. So that's a high school rivalry. They have Madison. They have Roosevelt.
They have the alternative.
They have the alternative schools.
That's my school there, baby.
See, if your kid is bad.
Hey, the student teacher ratio is 3-1.
3-1, yeah. If your kid is bad, they have some of the best alternative schools. I don't know.
Hey, Alma Heights isn't got a bad one either.
Yeah. So then we go to number 8.
8, yeah. Church Cibolo. That's where old boy Eric went.
Yeah, Church Cibolo.
Did you go to Clemens or Steele?
Steele. They had some great football players come out of Steele High School. A few have made the NFL.
Michael.
Is it Malcolm Brown, right? Malcolm Brown went there.
What was the coach's name? Michael Jinks, the head coach. He's now coaching, I think, at a HBCU. But I graduated Judson High School with him. He took Steele to the state championship game, or I don't think they won. But he's a really good guy.
Nice. So, I mean, one of the biggest things in Texas, if you don't know, is Friday Night Lights.
Friday Night Lights, baby.
Texas high school football. Steele High School is always one of the best teams around.
It's a good program.
Big school.
They came in strong.
Yeah. They have an 18-1 student-teacher ratio.
Even more pay, up to almost $60,000.
Yeah. They pay their teachers almost $60K a year. Overall rating an A. I actually have a buddy that I don't know what school he teaches at, but I think he's a high school teacher, one of these Church Cibolo teachers. We might get him on here one day.
My old long time friend, both the husband and wife. I knew her since I lived in Idaho. She was a military brat too. I knew her when I was like a freshman, eighth grade, and I've known him since I was like 18. And they ended up getting me. It was funny because it's while I'm at Randolph. I was a lifeguard at the pool at Randolph, and they met each other there. And I knew her from Idaho, and then I ran into her, and was like, "This is crazy." And I was really good friends with him, and they've got married, 3 kids. He's a football coach there at Clemens.
Nice.
And she teaches there at Clemens.
So then we have the far west side of San Antonio, Medina Valley ISD.
That's where my nephew goes to school. That area is growing. How many kids does it say it's in that school district right now?
So let's see. It says that school has 7,800 school district.
They're building.
I would say it's probably more than that now.
It's got They just voted down a bond issue there, which is so stupid for their school district. They are building, I think, like 2,000 houses right now. that over, and it's crazy how much growth is going, because all that growth going out Highway 90 is just
feeding into there.
It's just they from my dad and my mom moved to Castroville, which is Medina County, in 2007, and the reason was because it was close to Lackland Air Force Base, which is where Wilford Hall was, which is a hospital. Was until they moved everything to to SAMC. But now, and because my dad doesn't like people, he likes people, but he just doesn't like congestion and everything. He's a small town guy. And now from Castroville to 1604 on 90, they're putting a stoplight at 211 because of all the traffic and all the people out there. They're actually on the highway.
Putting a stoplight on the highway?
They're putting a stoplight.
Wow. So I'm going to skip over a couple. We won't dive too far into them. Lackland ISD, they have less than 1,000 students. Great Heart Academy in San Antonio.
I'm
overall,
surprised Northside is 12.
13 schools, almost 10,000 students. And then we get to Northside ISD. Northside ISD has 124 schools and 102,000 students.
I knew it was the largest school district in San Antonio. I've never seen the numbers like that, though. That's kind of 100,000
That's a city.
There's 1.7 million. There's like 5% of San Antonio.
Yeah. So like if you look at it on a map, it's kind of the whole northwest side of San Antonio, from kind of Stone Oak west all the way outside 1604 from 410, and then back around almost to Castroville, where Medina Valley takes over.
Right there at Petrenko and 211, that's where it's kind of the crossover for Medina Valley and Northside.
Yeah. According to this, I don't know how outdated this information is. They have 83 elementary schools and 17 high schools. Some of the high schools you might have heard of are Brandeis, Clark, O'Connor.
Brandeis won the volleyball state championship a couple years ago, just saying.
Warren, Taft, Brennan, Marshall, Harlan. They have John Jay.
Yeah.
Speaking of John Jay, did you see there's a lot of places that are starting to ban the Edgar haircut, the Marbach haircut?
That's what I've been wanting to talk about.
Yeah. We won't go too far into that on this one. But.
And I've asked some people, it's kind of both. You know what? It's a freedom of speech. People should be able to wear what they want to wear and everything, and it's just a haircut and everything. But at the same time, people have the right to associate and not associate with people that they feel any way, shape, or form. And if the haircut has got a bad rep, I don't understand.
But back in the day, beards had a bad rep, and now they're popular.
And that's one of the things that Jennifer and I were talking about. It's there's a song from the '70s, there's no long-haired hippie types need not apply, and it's the.
So they have a 19-to-1 student ratio.
That was a hard segue.
That was, right?
Someone doesn't want to talk about Edgar's. My brother's middle name is Edgar. I'm allowed to.
Well, does he have the haircut, though?
He didn't have the hair.
So you got to buy him an Edgar wig.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
So 19-to-1 student ratio.
And see, I knew that, too. They'd pay the highest so far.
Yeah. I mean, with 100,000 students, you're getting, as much space as that takes up.
But
there's so many places paying taxes into there.
They've got a 19 to, but the thing is, they got a 19-to-1 student teacher ratio. The national average is 17-to-1. They definitely get more federal funding. The lower that number gets, if that gets higher, they probably lose federal funding. So they're trying to incentivize more teachers to come there, but for some reason they're not able to hire enough. For some reason, it seems like.
I think it's just teachers get paid. This district pays $60,000 a year, which is higher than a lot of the other ones that we've kind of went over.
It's because they were trying to attract them. At one point, Alamo Heights was the highest in the city, but they have gone way. I think the average was 54 for them. They're almost 10% less.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, just
nobody the problem. The thing is it's not easy to get to Alamo Ranch. If you live in Converse, say you're a teacher living in Converse, or you're living even in the medical center, the traffic driving out there, nobody wants to drive out there to work to begin with. I'm just making up reasons in my head.
No, for sure. But there's still affordable housing in those areas to where
absolutely
it's comparable sales price. If somebody lives in Converse, they can move.
And that's why all that growth down Highway 90 going up towards Castroville, that's where all that growth. And there's a ton of neighborhoods that can hopefully feed into that and everything and help kind of balance the scales.
Yeah.
Because right now, we talked about bad driving and everything in traffic. Like that part of San Antonio is the worst part of San Antonio for traffic, in my opinion. Like I come that way a lot. How many times it could take me 40 minutes to get somewhere? It could take me an hour and a half to get somewhere.
That's absolutely one of the worst traffic areas.
That's kind of California crap. It's bull.
Yeah, that's absolutely one of the worst traffic areas in San Antonio. I don't like driving out that way if I don't have to.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, there's more accidents because there's more people driving over there. It's a super populated part of San Antonio.
We already know that San Antonio drivers are bad.
Yeah, I think we talked about that. Like, go back and look at the
hell. But so those are kind of some of the top districts in San Antonio. A little bit about that, what we know about them, some anecdotal knowledge. It's not, take it for what it's worth. It's somebody else's opinion. It's not ours anyway.
If schools are important, or if any of this stuff is important to you on your move to San Antonio or moving around San Antonio, and you might not know all the answers about this, feel free to reach out to us. We'll give you our insight on it, give you some good resources to go look out to. I'll say one of the things in San Antonio, when you meet somebody here, one of the first questions that is always asked is, hey, what high school did you go to?
Yeah.
And then when you say...
I use it as an excuse of why I can't read or write so well.
Yeah. And then when you say the school that you went to...
Judson.
You went to Judson. If you went to John Jay, I'd be like, hey, where's your haircut? But yeah, I mean, really, whatever it is you're looking at doing, we just try to bring the best information possible to you guys. Do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Thank you so much.